Hi, in this video we're going to go over if statements in C++. And so these are actually things that we use every day and they're common. If my phone is ringing, I'm going to answer it. Or if somebody's at my door, I'm going to answer it. So we have a condition, which is if someone is at the door, and then we have the execution, then I'm going to answer it. And so the computer is the same way. So I've just created a form with a button and a label and a close button. And let's go ahead and type this out. So we'll make an if statement. And if I hit a space, it's going to do code complete. I'm going to show you how to do this real quick. Let's go ahead and erase this and just do it by hand. So we're going to have a parenthesis and a parenthesis. And this is our test condition. And then we're going to have a body, which is a bracket and a bracket. And this is if the condition, right now we're checking for true, then do this. And so this is where our code's going to go. So we could say, if 2 is greater than 1, then what do we want to do? Let's just update our label like we've been doing. Label 1, and we're going to update the text, and we'll make that equal to true. So if 2 is greater than 1, then this is true. So let's go ahead and run this. Takes a second. There we go. So this is true. So if 2 is greater than 1, then make our label text true. Now we can also do if let's make this 1. If 1 is greater than or equal to 1, so we can add in the check for equal and to see if it's greater, all within one statement, so you don't have to break this apart. And obviously here 1 is equal to 1, so that meets that condition of being greater than or equal to 1. There we go. And we can do less than also. Now another thing that you typically do is check for equality. So here we're doing less than or equal. What if we just wanted to test if they were equal? This would be the common, this would be what you'd think you'd type in there, but this is actually not a test for equality. It doesn't check to see if they're equal. It actually, it's an assignment. So if we created a variable here, let's make an integer, and let's say x, let's just call it a. A is equal to 6. In this scenario, what happens is it takes the 6 and it assigns it to the variable a. So this is an assignment. And we'll go ahead and just do another one here. 3. And so that's what's going on here. This would be an assignment. Now you notice we did greater than and less than. And so there are actually 2 statements right here. And we're going to do that for the test as well. So if we wanted to test for equality, then we can say if A is equal to B, then let's write out our text here. So let's see what happens when we do this. Nothing happens because they're not equal. And if we want to say, all right, if A is not equal to B, then we actually use an exclamation point and the equal sign, and this is not equal. So if A does not equal B, then tell us true. And we could change our text to say, you know what, these, they're not equal. But I'm just showing you these conditions here. Now, what if we wanted to say, all right, if A is equal to B, then let's say that they're equal. And if they're not equal, then let's say that they're not equal, right? So we need to do something if it's true, and we need to do something if it's false. So one way to do this would to be type another if statement. So we could say if A, oh, and this has added something for me. If A does not equal B, then label 1 text not equal. Let's do this. Wrong one. There we go. if A is not equal to B, capital B, case sensitive. All right, and I put C. Let's try this one more time. So when we execute this, there we go. So now they're not equal. But what we've done is we've created multiple if statements, which is easy to do. We have one condition for if they're true, one if they're false. But the thing is, for a computer, when you give it decision, it has to spend CPU cycles, right, calculating if it's true or not. Now, in this statement, what we know for a fact is that if they're true, then we can do this. If it's not true, we know automatically that it's not true, so we really don't need to do another calculation. So if we're trying to speed up our code, we can actually just write else. So in this statement, if A is equal to B, right, do this. If it's not, we don't need to check for it because we know it's false, and we can just put this in here. So let's run this. There we go, not equal. So it does the same thing. The difference is the computer doesn't have to calculate this because it's already calculated up here. It just makes it a little bit faster. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to introduce another symbol, and it's called the modulus. Big word. All this means is, this is the modulus symbol, and all it means is there a remainder? So we could say, let's say that we want to see if this is an even or odd number. There we go. All right, so let's say, and to check if something is even or odd, you can divide it by 2. So if we divided 6 by 2 and there's no remainder, then this is an even number. And if there is a remainder, then we know it's an odd number. Because if A were 7, you divide that by 2, there's going to be a remainder, so we know it's odd. Now, the way we do this is we say A modulus, which is divided by B with the remainder. If that is equal to 0, then it's an even number, right? So if A divided by B, if the remainder equals 0, then it's even. Otherwise, it's odd. Let's do this. There we go. It's an even number. And if we change this to 7, then it'll come back odd. There's our odd number. Now, I do want to point out that you can put math in here as well. So these are simple tests, but we could say, if A divided by, let's say if 5 divided by 3 is equal to 9, whatever this is, we can put out math formulas and all kinds of things inside these parentheses, these blue parentheses right here. And it will actually, in this case, it actually does the calculation and then does the test. So we can make these pretty complex here. We'll go ahead and run this just so you can see it. And there we go. So if statements and else statements, and what we'll do is we'll put up on the website the code. So if you just need to look it up for reference, we'll have it on there. So take care, and we'll see you in the next video.